One, two, three, four, five. Hey, welcome back. Welcome to another edition of Cigar Talk with Bookham Dano. Bookham Dano and Peni. Of course, Peni's not here. Bookham is. And welcome back. Smoking a La Gloria Cabana Maduro. Great cigar. Well, welcome wannabe expats or wannabe foreigners coming to another third world country other than Cambodia, Thailand, Vietnam, wherever you're going to go, Australia. But this is the Philippines. And it's a beautiful place. Beautiful people, beautiful weather, hot, but I love hot, so that's something you have to think about if you're going to come to the Philippines. But I thought we'd sit here and just have another talk about life in the Philippines, which is very enjoyable. I've talked about that before. So how are you going to adjust when you get here? Are you going to be ready to adjust to a culture that is a lot nicer than the culture we came from, the States? But it's a nice culture, a very kind culture. They're family-oriented culture. They're family-oriented. The parents live with the family. Most of them all live with their family, and they help each other out. But you want to be also aware that when you come here, if you're single and you're looking for a Philippine woman or a lady, do your research with them now. You know, there's a lot of them here. The culture here is just one that older expats like me, 70 years old or 80 years old, and 60 plus, come here and get women that are in their 20s and 23. And it happens all the time. Wow, could they do that in your state or where you come from? I don't know. It's frowned upon, but it's just the culture here for some reason. And it's one of the ways that women guess they have like a security blanket because they're going to meet a foreigner and they're going to take care of you and you're going to take care of them, and it's like a mutual exchange. But is it really love? You know? It's a big dynamic. I don't know if they've written a book about it, about these older expats that come here from all over the world, 80 years old with a 23-year-old. Oh yeah, you'll find that online. You'll see it when you're in these vloggers. You'll see them with these young Philippine women, you know. But there are those too that get scammed by those women. And a lot of them said that they thought they'd be smarter too, but it happens. So you have to be very careful. You have to be not real naive, but be smart. You know, it can be enjoyable, but there can be a dynamic. You know, a younger girl like that, really, from let's say we're in the States, right? You're going to marry. You're 80 years old, and you're going to marry a 23-year-old girl. She's got half her life to live. She's going to want to do things that an 80-year-old guy might not want to do. You know. They want to go out and dance. They want to go out and party. They want to have fun, right? But their culture's that type that they take care of you. So are you really exchanging being taken care of for love? That's one thing you got to think about when you come here, because it's very enticing. Besides, excuse me, besides all those people that want to come here because the exchange and the cost of living is better for a foreigner, or what's so-called expat. Yes, it is. So you really got to think about what kind of plan you're going to have, who you're going to meet. There's a lot of stories you'll see online about Philippine expats getting scammed from their Filipino girls. You know, or are you one of those dating online people that you're going to get engaged over online, and then you're going to send money to this girl you don't even know, and you think you know because you're doing what I'm doing now. We're talking like this, right? And you're talking back to her, and yeah, she's a real person. But is she really? Do you really know her? So you're going to start sending money to her, not knowing what she's really doing with it, but what she's telling you she's doing with it. And you're going to think, oh, it's okay, it's going to be all right. Well, you'll find out. You may not hear this from ones that are successful here, but you're sure going to hear it from those that get scammed. They'll do a vlog about it. I've seen guys lose a lot of money here in the Philippines, man. It is what it is. Men cheat and women cheat. You can only know a person so much by over the internet, and waiting years and 2 years on an LDR relationship I can't comprehend that myself. I just can't comprehend that. That's a relationship where you just like talking to that person. She looks good, she looks pretty. Ooh, yeah, she sends you pics of herself a little bit, and it gives you something to do, right? But you don't know her from Adam, man, until you live with somebody. You don't know somebody till you live with them, That's like me talking to you, and you may like what I say and what I'm saying, and you go, well, I'm your friend. I'm not your friend, man. I don't even know you, man. I haven't been out to dinner with you. I haven't taken you places. I haven't seen your behavior. I only see the nice behavior when you're talking to me on the message once a day or twice a week or 3 times a week when we're talking, right? So you got to think about that. Are you being misled? Are you being gullible? Naive? It happens. And it's not something that you should be embarrassed about, but you should be proactive. And really find out if this girl's on the telling the truth. You'll hear stories about, oh, maybe if she takes you to the family, she's got you. Well, might be interesting to see the family, see how they react. Of course, they're not going to try to say too much because, when they see her with a foreigner, they know that, hey, this guy's all right. He's got money. So is it really a transactional thing that we do, or is it really love? You're going to have to answer that question yourself, whether it's really love or not. And if you're willing to take that risk, then there's plenty of Filipinos to see when you get here. So instead of getting one online and just teasing yourself, come to the Philippines. Come enjoy it, experience it, see the culture, feel the environment, see the people, see the women. Yes, it's easier to connect with them here, believe it or not. But, you have to keep them satisfied, right? So if you're 80 years old, they got a lot of Viagra guys that walk around with a bag and they got Viagra in it. So if you're having a hard time and you're 70 or 80 years old, and you need that, I guess that helps you out. Go ahead and do it, right? For those of you that are in that category. But yeah, there's guys walk around here all the time, man, in those touristy areas with Viagra, the Filipino guys trying to make a living, selling belts and stuff and all that. You'll see a lot of that when they come here. Sunglasses, wallets. They try to sell you everything. But those are a couple things you should understand when you come to the Philippines. To experience that, to know how to deal with it, and not to be mean and just say no thank you, but say it in their language, no thank you, and that's voila, that means no. Once you give them a Philippine word that they know in their language, they know no is no, and you don't have to say it mean, you just go voila, salamat, voila, that's it. Means no thank you. So you got to do those things. You really got to prepare before you come here. I like to inform people on my channel about certain situations, and one of those is it looks so inviting, but come here and experience it for yourself. If you like the touristy places, then have at it, man. I have nothing against expats, but I don't want to be involved with a lot of expats. You'll see some channels that say you can't trust a lot of expats, and then that's true. For some reason, there's that dichotomy, man, where, you know, you could sit at a bar with them. They're an expat, right? So you're sitting at a certain bar, maybe you can name any bar, you know, around in the areas of those touristy areas, and then they all sit there on the edge there looking out at the women or looking out and watch people walk. You can sit with them and talk about home, about business, about everything, but they're not your friend. That's what you have to remember. All you have in common is an acquaintance there that is doing the same thing you're doing. That's the only thing you have in common, that you're an expat. That's it. You know, they're not your friend. They don't come over and stay overnight. They don't come over and meet your wife or come over and you go out to dinner or play golf together or bowling together or whatever you want to do here. You know, a friend is not a person that's an acquaintance. They're just an acquaintance you meet because you're in the same area doing the same thing that everybody else wanted to do. Come to the Philippines and enjoy themselves and have a good time. And also hook up with other expats maybe that have the same thing in common with you. You know, try to assimilate. You'll find out here a lot of expats, some expats, I'm not going to say all, but a lot of them don't assimilate. They don't want to learn the language. But if you're going to live here, it's good to learn the language a little bit. It helps out. It means you really enjoy the culture and you're trying to learn and have a little respect because they respect you when you can talk their language a little bit. Now, they grow up in school learning English. But remember, if they're here and they're learning English in school, but there's nobody to talk English to when they're out of school or when they go home and they're learning English, you're going to lose it. They're going to lose it. And so they're only going to learn a little bit, but they do know some English. So that makes another reason why it's so enjoyable to come to the Philippines. And I can't say enough that I love being here. It's so beautiful. The people are beautiful. Are there problems in any country other than ours too? You know, in the United States, yes. There's problems. But those problems don't affect us. They affect the Filipinos. You know, the gas has gone up. I have a diesel car, so the gas has come up now because of situations in the world happening now, but it's still cheap. It's cheaper than the United States, you know. 70 pesos for a gallon, for a liter of gas. Wow. How about that, huh? 70 cents right now. Before it was like 52, 58. Now it's about 70 pesos for a liter. But that's nothing compared to over there. So is everything more reasonable here for us as expats? Yes, because of the exchange. Right now it's 59.30. 59.30 to the dollar, US dollar. And you know, I always tried to figure out why they want crisp $100 bills. When you come here, they have to be crisp from the bank. So if you're going to carry money, you can only carry $10,000 cash on you when you come to the Philippines. So if you're going to bring that, you need to have crisp $100 bills from the bank. No writing on it, no tears, nothing at all, or they won't accept it. They'll take 998 of them and give you the other 3 or 4 that got writing on them for some reason. I asked a bank manager about that one time and why they want crisp $100 bills, you know, because any bill we have is good, right? It's got writing on it. Someone said, "What fuck you want it," or something, or they said something out there like that. You still get to use it, right? Over here, you don't. They don't want it. And I asked him about it, and he said he doesn't know. It's up to the higher-ups. So I think it's just a hierarchy thing in the government that they just like the crisp $100 bills, $50 bills, $20 bills. Those got to be good bills. They can't be wrinkled up. Now, when you exchange it, they're going to give you dirty 20 peso bills, dirty 50 peso bills, dirty 100 peso bills. They're going to give you old money. It's their money, but it's old looking. Some of the new ones, they have new ones out now, new $1,000 pesos, $500 pesos, and a 50 pesos, brand new. So you might get some of those in with the older ones, but that's just the way it is. So you get used to making exchanges and everything. And if you come to the Philippines and you need to have money, we have Chase Bank. So I had no problem pulling out money, and it does the exchange right there. When you pull it out, you say, I want 10,000 pesos, and it pulls out. If the exchange is right where it is, it's 170 something dollars for 10,000 pesos. Not a bad exchange. And Chase Bank gives me my fees back. It's about $5 to withdraw. So it's easy, but use a bank ATM. Be careful of the ones along the street. Just look at them closely to see that they're not jammed up with it. You know, they're scam ATMs. Most of them, since I've been here, I haven't had a problem at all. I haven't had a problem. I always use a bank ATM. We bank with BDO. There's so many banks here, but BDO is one of the biggest Philippine banks. They like to use that a lot, so we have that one, and I just use their ATM all the time. And then you'll find when you're moving around, you're trying to do things, and Friday comes, and oh yeah, I got to pull out some money. Well, you'll find out you go to an ATM and it's gone already, because the Filipinos go there on Friday, pull everything out, and Saturday morning, and then there's no more money. You got to go run and find an ATM that hasn't been used yet to get the money. That's how it works here. So I always get mine before the weekend, because I know they're going to take it all out. The Filipinos, then they do their shopping on Monday, they're shopping on Sunday. Sunday and Monday's their big shopping day, you know. So you have to be aware of that. You'll understand that as you come here and you live here a little bit, and understand how things are done, and it'll become more enjoyable to you. Make sure you have a little patience, you know. For some in the touristy areas. In the touristy areas, they have, you know, if you got your license and you're here more than 90 days, because you can only use your U.S. license here for 90 days. So if you're going to be here for more than 90 days, you can exchange it for a Philippine license, because they consider you a professional driver. As long as your license is, it's not expired and it's valid, you can exchange it. So be aware of that. It took me 3 times before I got my license, because one place at LTO, they call it LTO here, not DMV. They call it LTO, land something, whatever. They call it LTO. So I went to one in Tarlac, where I live. The guy wasn't going to give me one. He says, I can't give you one. He says, you're going to have to start out as a student. So I pointed out where in their law it states that if it's valid and it is not expired, I can get a Philippine one, but he wouldn't let me. I don't know why. But if you're in a touristy area, okay, where a lot of tourists are and a lot of expats, lots of expats, they're used to that. I'm out a little further, so when I came here and I tried to do it, they weren't used to that, so they probably weren't really up to date on that. They should know, but they didn't. So I had tried it again a second time later, a week, 2 weeks later, and still got denied. So then I went to Paniqui, which is the next city over from Tarlac is Paniqui. And I went to that LTO, went in there, and in 4 hours I was out of there. I had my license. So you have to be patient, and you know, and not everything's going to run as smooth as you think DMV runs, but it runs a lot smoother than you think. So you might enjoy that, having to run around a little bit. You know, you got to have all your documentation ready for it with you together and stuff. And the PRA here, which takes care of the SSRV for tourists that want to be permanent residents, and 13As and things like that, there's a lot of satellite offices. So wherever you go to your satellite office, and they'll tell you how much it costs if you're going to stay here as a permanent resident, what it's going to cost, you know, and this and that. And it's online of what it costs for SSRV or military, you know, or just being a tourist, getting an extension, all of that stuff you'll understand, and you'll hear about from other guys how they did it and stuff. It's not that hard. But don't be lazy like a lot of these expats, and don't be an overstay. You only have 30 days when you come here on that visa. It's a free visa. You come here for 30 days. They stamp it in your book. So before 30 days is up, you need to go down there and you know, either file for your extension or get an exit clearance to leave. 3 days before you leave. You got to get an exit clearance. And that's so if you did anything while you're here, you're stuck. You know, if you get in an accident, you have a court case coming up, or you have somebody got hurt because you were driving and you crashed into something, you won't be able to leave. Because if they file a case against you, or a suit, or they go to the wrong guy and they want compensation if it was your fault, well then you can't leave. You're going to have to stay here until that's done. So that's how that works in the Philippines. But other than that, life is good here. Just don't be an overstay your visa, because you get penalized every day you overstay after you overstay. And I know you'll see on vlogs here, guys overstayed, they can't leave, they got no money, and they're just hiding out. They can't afford it. One guy, I saw a video, some Philippine lady was trying to help him, and he said he was $150,000 they want for his overstay fees, pesos. That's a lot of money if you don't have it. But these are people that don't, you know, they got themselves in trouble with their Philippine girl, and excuse me, now they're homeless. She's got the house. He has nothing. He's overstayed. So he's afraid to file anything, because if he files, now he's overstayed and he can't leave. Immigration will take him right away and lock him up until they can process, until he can pay his fees, or the government or the embassy for your state will pay for you to leave. Or if you got family members that want to send you money to come here and leave, they'll do that too. But it's pretty good. The insurances, another little thing I thought might be interesting too, is if you have a car. I have a 2019 Toyota Fortuner. Now when you register it, they automatically give you insurance. It's $300 a year. I think it's 300 or 360 pesos a year. That's cheap. Now you also can opt out of that and get your own insurances. As long as you show proof of insurance for that car, you can do that. You can get better insurance. But the 360 will be fine for me. That's good for me on my car. You know, so, and you'll navigate your way through the Philippines as it goes on. Meanwhile, you'll be enjoying yourself, meeting other expats, probably sitting at the coffee shop talking about all these different things, and you know, but just be prepared. Have a good time and come here and enjoy life. You know, I enjoyed having our house built by a contractor and watching it grow, you know. And we have a 3-bedroom, 1 master bedroom and 2 bedrooms. So that's 3 bedrooms, 1's the master, 2 full bathrooms, a kitchen, a living room, and a carport, and a nice balcony off the master bedroom. And the total of our house being built was $63,000 US, which is 3.3 or 3.2 million pesos. Now you can't build a house in the States that's brick and marble for $63,000. You can't do it. Can't do it. But you can here. And it's interesting when you see your house built and you're watching them, they wear flip-flops. They don't wear boots, you know, and they mix their own stuff by hand. Now, if you want to, you can put in your bid, or your you know, for the pay that you're going to give them in their contract, that you go get one of those rotating cement mixers. You can get one of them, the hand one, the one you pull by the car and you bring it on, you lay it there, and then they fill it and do their thing. You can do that. That costs a little more money, but they're used to just doing it right on the ground. They mix the gravel with the sand and they build it. It's interesting. And if you want to some changes made, then you just let the contractor know, well, this is what I like here and that's what I like there. And when I was here, I had the electrical put in, but to my mistake was I didn't have them put in three-pronger electrical, only a two-prong. So have to use an adapter if you want to use your laptop or you want to use your TV. You need an adapter. So you put the three-prong into the adapter and then an adapter into the plug. But that's no big deal. The adapter works fine. It has a ground on it. But the other ones don't. They're round. They're round. Like European ones, you know. But yeah, it's so enjoyable here. But those are some little things that you can think about that I mentioned, you know, when it comes to those things. I mentioned a few of those other things in one video about flip-flops and stuff, you know, make sure you bring a bunch of them. But man, I tell you what, the difference from living in the States and living here is just peaceful. It's peaceful. Do I miss the States? Oh yeah, my mother's there. She's 84 years old. She has dementia. She's in a hospice now, but living in the hospice at home, being taken care of by my brother and his wife. And he asked to take her because he's the only one that can do it. She didn't want to be here in the Philippines, and we lived here. So we have quite a ride if we're going to go back if something happens. And that's a choice we'll have to make. She doesn't remember me. She has to be told, you know, this is your son, Dan. It's a tough thing, you know. But she's 84 years old, but I know she's getting the best care she can with the health care in the States. If she came here, the health care would be different. And she'd be taken care of like a Philippine family. They would just take care of her the best they can until she passes. So at least I know that, you know, Matt and me, my brother Matt, knows that she's in good hands. You know, they're taking care of her the best they can. They got a, you know, one of those medical beds in there, and they have a nurse that comes 3 times a week. You know, but those are the choices that you make too when you leave, you know. But you're able to talk on Messenger, and you can talk on Messenger, even though she can't hear too well either. You have to kind of speak up, and they kind of got to tell her what you're saying. So that's difficult too. You know, it's tough when you can't have a regular conversation with your parent anymore, with your mom. My father's passed already 2 years ago. But yeah, my mom, you can't really have a conversation with her. How you doing? You know, are you okay? You know, it's your birthday. Her birthday's coming up, so, you know, I'll send her flowers, but she won't know who sent them. You'll have to tell her. But, you know, that's life. But we also got to think about our lives too, because life can go fast, man. So you really need to do your due diligence if you're going to move to a third world country here and enjoy life in a third world country, which is still a developing country, not like Thailand. It's more developed than Philippines is. Philippines is much slower. I don't get into the politics here in the Philippines, but I'm glad that I can be a guest here and be a permanent resident. And when people hear that, where do you live? And you go, I live in Arona, or wherever it was, right? Then I go, I'm a permanent resident. I live here. Oh, really? Oh, but you're a Sawa, your Philippine wife? I said, yes. But my wife is not no 23-year-old girl. She's a nurse, and she's, I'm 70 and she's 68. So that's a big difference. You know, we've been together 9 years now. At the 5-year mark, we moved here. I told her, let's move and retire in the Philippines. She said, okay. So there's different reasons why you might want to come here. Maybe you've thought about it. There's so many so many expats online that watch the vloggings of the Philippines and Thailand, and they look from afar, and it just looks so nice and so neat, which it is. But don't let that sway you and make you drop your senses in regards to what the real reason is you're coming here. If you want to come long term, that's a big move, to sell everything you have and to come here to the Philippines and enjoy the culture and the people here. But it gives you a different respect on life. In the States, I ate a lot. It's just a psycho thing, and psychologically in the States, you just want to eat, eat, eat. Every corner has a store, a restaurant. You know what I mean? Here, I only eat maybe twice a day. A little breakfast in the morning, and then something in the afternoon about 1 o'clock. That's it. I don't eat any more than that. When I left the States, when I first came here, I was 256 pounds. 256 pounds. I now am 225. 225. And I feel better because we have stairs in our house. So you're walking up and down the stairs, you're going to the mall, you're walking around the mall, you're going to the market, you're walking around the market, big markets, outside markets that are covered, and you go in and they sell everything there, shirts, pants, you name it, everything, fish, food. And so you walk through the markets, there's a lot of walking to do. You're out in the yard, you're working, you're having you got to keep movement. You have to keep movement. You have to keep your muscles moving. Enjoy things and do things that you like to do, And it makes life a lot happier. So these are just the little videos I like to put out and talk about that are important, that might give you something to think about coming to the Philippines. It's a beautiful life, man. So if you come here, enjoy it for the time you're here as a tourist, or you have friends that have lived here. Those are choices you're going to have to make. I don't know who you are, or if you're coming or not, but yeah, do your research. And if you make the move, make sure it's the move you want to make. It can be a little fearful in a sense that, well, I'm going somewhere I've never been before. But if you watch a lot of videos and you take what you can out of there that's positive, okay, and not negative, you'll have to watch a lot of them so you can know what is true and what isn't true, because there's a lot of disinformation out there on different things. So you want to take very good care about what you watch and what you listen to out there. But that will help you make your decision to come out here. And that's why I do these little videos. I'm not looking for a billion or 100,000 people watching me. I do this because I'm one of those successful, in my eyes, that left the States to a third world country, sold everything we have. I have, of course, a Philippine wife, and of course that makes it a little easier, I guess, And we moved here. And so I'm learning Tagalog from my wife, little by little, because she talks with her family here. We're across the street from her family, so she talks it all the time. So it's going to take me a while to get that, because to take languages in the state is just a prerequisite. You don't have to learn another language if you don't want to. Here they have to, because they're a third world country and they need to communicate with foreigners and business people that come here. And so it helps them out if they're in a touristy area or in businesses where there's an American-owned business through the Philippines and work for them or something, because they can only have so many Filipinos working for them and Americans. There has to have more Filipinos than Americans working for them if they open up a business here. So, yeah, it helps out to know a little English, and they learn English, so they can speak a little English, which helps us expats out a little bit, because they know what we're talking about. And usually it's easy to get by. It's not hard at all. You'll trudge through it. It's not that bad. And when you try to talk to a Filipino sometimes, a lot of them, like today, I was talking to one I went to Chowking, which is a nice little Philippine place that's Chinese food, I guess it is. It's called Chowking. And one of the girls went like this to her friend. Oh, he's talking in her language, bloody nose. They call it bloody nose when they can't understand your English. So you have to trudge through it what you want. You're trying to show them what you want, They call bloody nose. So I kind of joke around a little bit. I carry a napkin with me. And when they go bloody, they're saying this to their co-partner. I go, here, you got a bloody nose? And then they laugh. But it goes the same way around too. When I hear them talking and I can't understand what they're saying, it goes the same way. But I don't get a bloody nose. It's just what they call it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little talk, this cigar talk. It's not much. I don't monetize my channel at all. I just do these for informational and entertainment value. Because if you really want to know, how things are in the Philippines. Why not listen to somebody that's been here, going on 5 years now, that enjoys it? And I've had no problems here. I don't consider a problem like no major problems. You know what I'm saying? Got to wait in line for gas maybe because of the situation going on. It's higher and this and that, but that's nothing. So if nobody said they love you today, I love you. Thanks for watching. And if nobody said they love you today, I love you.